Divya Saber with OpTv Global Headlines. Starting with the top international stories for the day. The Taliban have celebrated Afghanistan's Independence Day by declaring it has beaten the United States. The Taliban so far have offered no plans for the government they plan to lead other than to say it will be guided by Sharia law. The Taliban will not have access to most of the nation's cash and gold stocks, while the IMF announced it won't provide aid. The Afghanistan Bank has around $9 billion in reserves, but most of that is held overseas, out of reach of the Taliban. There is currently a lack of clarity within the international community regarding recognition of a government in Afghanistan, as a consequence of which the country cannot access IMF resources as per officials. About 24 US diplomats in Afghanistan sent an internal cable last month warning Secretary of State Antony Blinken of the potential fall of Kabul to the Taliban as US troops withdrew from the country. State Department spokesman Ned Price said diplomats' views shared with Blinken through the channel were incorporated into policy and planning. The Dutch Prime Minister has thanked Pakistan for its support and facilitation in evacuation of stranded people from Afghanistan. Prime Minister of Pakistan Imran Khan received a call from Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte on the evolving Afghan situation. Prime Minister Imran Khan stressed that a peaceful and stable Afghanistan is critically important for Pakistan and the region. China and Pakistan should strengthen communication and coordination on Afghan issue to support a stable power transition in the country and peace in the region, Chinese State Councillor and Foreign Minister said. He urged that the two countries should encourage all Afghan parties to strengthen solidarity and establish a new broad-based and inclusive political structure that is suited to Afghan national conditions. A delegation of Afghanistan politicians in Pakistan have described Islamabad as a major player in Afghan affairs. Peace in region cannot be achieved without an alliance with Pakistan, says Afghan delegation. The United States has been struggling to pick up the pace of American and Afghan evacuations at Kabul airport, constrained by obstacles ranging from armed Taliban checkpoints to paperwork problems. With an August 31 deadline looming, tens of thousands remained to be airlifted from the chaotic country. US President Joe Biden says US troops may stay in Afghanistan beyond his planned 31st August withdrawal date to help evacuate Americans. President Biden again defended his handling of Afghanistan by saying the idea that know how that happens. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken discussed the latest situation in Afghanistan with G7 foreign ministers and the High Representative of the European Union. Leaders agreed that the international community's relationship with the Taliban will depend on their actions, not words. They also exchanged views on counterterrorism, humanitarian efforts, and refugee migration, agreeing to remain in close contact on all fronts. A man has been arrested after making a bomb threat near the Congress building in Washington, D.C. U.S. Capitol Police had been negotiating with the driver, but his motives remain unknown. Police are still searching the vehicle. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Indian police arrested 4 persons including Hurriyat leader Zafar Akbar Butt and a woman in a fake case registered against them, according to Kashmir Media Service. Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism also martyred 1 Kashmiri youth in Rajouri district. Local officials in the occupied West Bank city of Hebron made a call for Palestinians to attend Friday prayers at the Ibrahimi Mosque to confront alleged Israeli plans for its Judaizing. The call comes amid plans by Israel to build an elevator outside the mosque for the exclusive use of Jewish settlers. Palestinians say this would facilitate settler raids into the mosque. Saudi has allocated 25 new paths at the Mataf courtyard in the Grand Mosque in Makkah Mukarramah. The paths include 4 for the elderly and people with disabilities. The upgrade comes as part of plans to manage crowds amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The Kuwaiti government announced to resume commercial flights for 6 countries including Pakistan and India. The ban has also been lifted for Egypt, Bangladesh, Nepal and Sri Lanka. Hurricane Grace has struck Mexico's Caribbean coast, tearing the roofs off some homes, knocking out power to thousands and keeping tourists off white sand beaches as it crossed the Yucatan Peninsula. The Category 1 storm had already soaked earthquake-damaged Haiti, Jamaica, and Cayman Islands en route to the heart of Mexico's tourism industry. The death toll from a massive earthquake in Haiti soared past 2,000. Dry and windy weather has dogged firefighters efforts to contain destructive fires that are devouring the bone-dry forests of drought-stricken Northern California. The Dixie Fire, which gutted the town of Greenville 2 weeks ago, has destroyed more than 1,200 buildings, including 649 homes. An estimated 11,000 firefighters are on the lines of more than a dozen large wildfires. Up next, we have the national update. Pakistan marks 50th death anniversary of martyred pilot officer Rashid Minhas with Nishan-e-Haider by remembering his sacrifice for the country. The Director General Inter-Services Public Relations said in a Twitter message, "On the 50th martyrdom anniversary, we remember with reverence, bravery and supreme sacrifice of national hero pilot officer Rashid Minhas Shaheed. Nishan-e-Haider, who in line of duty lived up to great traditions of Pakistan Air Force defending the motherland." Law enforcement agencies were alerted and a search operation was launched after a drone-like device was sighted in Banikala and Barakahu areas. Station House Officer Inspector confirmed that the device was seen in the sky around the Prime Minister's residence and other important buildings in the area. Pakistan ranked 153rd among the 193 countries surveyed in the 2020 UN E-Government Development Index report. The warrant marks a decline in ranking in comparison with the report published in 2018 when Pakistan was on the 148th number. UN EGDI tracking includes Online Services Index, Human Capital Index, and Telecommunication Infrastructure Index. Pakistan People's Party Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has said that the government must abandon the practice of appeasing terrorists and Parliament should be taken into confidence over the ongoing situation in Afghanistan. He urged that the citizens of Afghanistan should be allowed to observe the month of Muharram freely, and this was a litmus test for Afghanistan. The US blogger Cynthia D. Ritchie has recorded her statement to the police in which she said that 2 Indian citizens came to her apartment and warned her not to continue working in Pakistan anymore. After the discussion, they gave her some unknown substance that had made her unconscious. She was found unconscious in her flat in Islamabad. The Counter-Terrorism Department have arrested 2 wanted terrorists belonging to the outlawed Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and seized heavy weapons and huge cash from them. The terrorists were allegedly involved in the kidnapping of 14 workers of a mobile company when they installing a tower in Kurram district last month. 10 more people were detained by Lahore police over suspicion of their involvement in attacking and harassing a female TikToker at Minare, Pakistan. The capital city police officer said that data of other people involved in the incident has also been received by them and soon more arrests would be made in the wake of fresh evidence. Former Chief Minister and MPA Nawab Muhammad Aslam Khan Resani on Tuesday allotted 50 acres of land for Balochistan University Mustang Sub-Campus. The construction of the Mustang Sub-Campus will only lead to an educational revolution in the region but will also have a positive impact on economic, political and regional social issues. Another doctor in Karachi lost his life after contracting novel coronavirus. The number of doctor casualties due to the global pandemic in Sindh has risen to 76, while the national numbers have shot to 219, according to Pakistan Medical Association report. Up next, we have the health updates. Just days after the start of their academic year, over 20,000 pupils from 800 Mississippi of United States schools have been told to quarantine due to COVID exposure. Some 4,500 children became sick with COVID during their first week of school. The Delta variant, the dominant strain in the US, has been affecting younger people at a higher rate. The US has recorded about 4.4 M child infections out of total of 37 M since the pandemic began. The World Health Organization condemned Wednesday the rush by wealthy countries to provide COVID-19 vaccine booster shots, while millions around the world have yet to receive a single dose. WHO said that current data does not indicate that COVID-19 booster shots are needed. The number of patients who have recovered from COVID-19 in Pakistan exceeded 1 million on Friday, as 70 more people lost their lives to the disease, raising the death toll to 24,783. The numbers of currently ill patients are at 89,673, which is the highest since May 2nd. The daily positivity rate of infected patients among those tested is 6.23%. Up next, we have the updates on science and technology. SpaceX is launching a satellite to display billboards in space. Geometric Energy Cooperation plans to blast a satellite into space aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket next year. It will allow advertising to be beamed from Earth and displayed on a pixelated screen on the side of the spacecraft. Rattlesnakes have evolved a clever method of convincing humans that a danger is closer than they think. The sounds of their shaking tail gets louder as a person approaches but then suddenly switches to a much higher frequency. The researchers say the trait evolved to help snakes avoid being trampled on. Up next we have the sports updates. Pakistan are set to rest four key all-format players Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan, Shaheen Afridi and Hassan Ali for the upcoming ODI series against Afghanistan and Sri Lanka next month. The series is set to begin on September 3rd. Pakistan have played more games than any other team besides England since the COVID-19 outbreak. An Afghan footballer who played for the national youth team fell to his death after trying to cling to a US plane airlifting people out of Taliban-controlled Kabul. The General Directorate of Physical Education and Sports of Afghanistan has confirmed the death of Zaki Anvari and said Anvari, like thousands of Afghan youths, wanted to leave the country but fell off a US plane and died. Saudi woman Amal Misfar Al Farhan made history by becoming the first female camel owner to take part in the prestigious Crown Prince Camel Festival in Taif. Amal Misfar Al Farhan spent years studying camel racing and learning how best to invest in the sport. The festival has helped to establish the kingdom as the world's premier destination for camel racing. 19 years old pilot Zara Rutherford took off to become the youngest woman to fly solo around the world. The British-Belgian flyer's route will take about 3 months with stops in 52 countries. She hopes to win the title from Shaista Weiss, who became the youngest woman to fly solo around the world at 30. A Polish javelin thrower has auctioned off her 2020 Tokyo Olympics silver medal to help pay for heart surgery for an infant. Maria Andrusek said that she has collected over $128,380 for the ailing baby boy but needs $383,000 for the surgery. Up next we have the entertainment updates. Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston are teaming up again for a sequel to their 2019 comedy movie Murder Mystery. The movie Murder Mystery 2 will be shot in both Paris and the Caribbean. Pakistani-Canadian YouTuber Zaid Ali has welcomed his first child with wife Yumna Ali. The couple turned to their Instagram to share a photo of their bundle of joy. Pakistani actor Zahid Ahmed reflects on how early marriage shaped his career. The star revealed that he tries to lay low on social media apps to avoid any unnecessary gossips. He's more focused on his work and family. Ed Sheeran is releasing his fourth full-length album titled Equals. With the new album, Sheeran hopes to narrate his life-changing experiences over the past years. The artist behind the world's first underwater sculpture park has just unveiled his latest subaquatic project of a sunken forest located off the coast of a Pernera beach in Ayia Napa, Cyprus. The Museum of Underwater Sculpture in Cyprus costs $1.1 million to bring to life and is made up of 93 sculptures by Jason DeCaris Taylor. Up next we have the business updates. The Asian Development Bank has approved a $235 million loan to further upgrade a national highway in Pakistan. The project will expand the 222-kilometer Shikarpur-Rajanpur section of the National Highway 55 from 2 lanes into a 4-lane carriageway. Pakistan's bilateral trade with Afghanistan saw a sudden rise since the Taliban took control of Kabul. The movement of trucks across the border reached 1,123 crossed border at Torkham, Chaman, Kharlashi and Ghulam Khan. Taliban spokesperson Zabiullah Mujahid said that steps will be taken to promote trade with neighboring countries.